Most couples think about flowers, music, and decor when planning their wedding, but special effects are one of those things that can completely transform the entire energy and the guest experience in ways that couples don't always realize until they actually get a chance to see it in person. Today, we're breaking down what couples should know long before adding special effects to their wedding, from fireworks and cold sparks to fog, confetti, and so much more. We'll talk about timing and logistics, venue considerations, and how these effects can create those wow moments of the entire day. I'm Shannon with the Wedding Venue Map, and I'm here with Andy Nichols from Orlando Special Effects. And this is really for couples who are starting to think about how they want their wedding to feel and what kinds of those experiences and moments they want to create for their guests. Thanks for joining me, Andy, to share me all your tips.
I'm glad to be here.
So, for couples who may not realize everything that falls under wedding special effects, I know they've seen fireworks and they think fireworks first, but what types of effects are really popular right now when it comes to weddings?
Right now, the hot item is these rainbow smoke walls. And basically, on the Saddam moments when you've been, like, you may kiss the bride right now, announce you husband and wife, we can do a big rainbow sky shot of smoke charges. And it's a daytime fire effect. It wouldn't work very well at night unless we added some kind of lighting. But in lieu of light, I would do something different to create a similar effect. And then a lot of couples will add a small fireworks display at the end of the night with that as well, because all these pyrotechnics and special effects require permitting and insurance and paperwork. So if we're already there, a lot of the times we'll just add the fireworks, they'll spend the extra money and we'll do it. They are expensive. They're not for every weddings. It's the first thing to go. They need extra money. I totally understand that. However, most weddings don't have fireworks or smoke effects or pyrotechnics. And I encourage the brides and grooms or the mothers and fathers that surprise their kids with this stuff to make it a surprise. Don't tell anybody. It adds a huge wow factor to your wedding, and not only memorable for the bride and the groom, but their guests will put this at the top of one of the cooler weddings. Because again, most weddings do not have pyrotechnics or fireworks.
Yeah, I think you touched on a few really good things. One of them, when you talked about the rainbow effect, can it be in any colors or does it have to be specifically a rainbow?
Now
You
that's
can choose
the
the color.
question. I have an array of colors. It's a little bit limited, but it could be all one color. It could be any choice of colors for sure.
And then I think you touched on another magical thought that most people probably don't think about is the surprise factor of special effects. I think sometimes when couples are planning a wedding, they get so excited to tell everybody all the things that are going to come and see and realize that it kind of loses that wow factor.
Yeah, you want to surprise them. And I really like it, even encourage it when the parents of the bride or groom want to do this. And I'm like, look, just keep this a secret. I will make you a hero. And I've been doing fireworks for a very long time, and I have met people that don't like fireworks. However, most people really enjoy that.
So, what are some of the biggest ways that special effects can really transform the guest experience? So, from a guest perspective, what are some of the things that you've heard?
Really, the smoke effect gets a real rise out of people during the day because it's something that hasn't been seen a lot. It's a daytime firework effect, and it goes a long way. Very special. I get a lot of nice comments about that, just how unique that is. And then the same thing at night. I get the same thing when I shoot fireworks at weddings. I usually get guests that'll come over to me and ask me for a card and go, "That was really cool. I want to do this for my daughter." And until you realize that or experience it, it really can step it up for sure.
And I think that's part of why we're starting to have these conversations with our members. I think today's couples don't even know what all the options are. Planning a wedding in the world we live in today is really about investing in the things that are most important to you. And if fireworks are a must have item, or having those wow factor guest experiences super high at the top of your list, they might not have ever even thought of something like this as even being an option. So when couples start considering special effects, what are the first things that they should really think about before they book anything?
Will the venue allow it? And or have they done it before? Now, if the venue's never done fireworks before, but they're interested in it, then I can work through that venue with them, do a site inspection, make sure there's enough room for everything. Because really it's about distance. And roughly to start off with, we want about 250 feet from where your guests will be and any buildings that are occupied. So that's the basic standard. We have to provide that kind of information, that we have those distances when we do the permitting and stuff too, so we can get an approved permit make the fire marshal happy and all the paperwork.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into when you're hiring a professional to be able to do this. And I think that exactly what you said, if wow moments like special effects are going to be important to your wedding, I think sometimes they have already made the venue selection and then they want to have it and realize they can't have it. So I think that is such a really important piece to say if these things are important to you to start thinking about them early enough
Right.
that you're choosing a venue that you can have it and that will allow it because fireworks don't work everywhere.
No, you don't. And some venues just simply don't have the room, or those venues maybe not care for fireworks,
Yeah.
or they've got a golf course and they don't want any of the fallout or paperwork on their golf course. There's a lot of different reasons that they may or may not want it. But yeah, look ahead, ask if there's enough room. We can generally make it happen.
I know we've talked a little bit about the fireworks in general and about the new rainbow cannon blow off fog. It looks so incredible in photos. What are some of the other wedding moments that, from a special effects, that they could potentially tie into their wedding?
Well, we've done gold and silver mylar confetti for entrances indoors. I've shot silk rose petals out of
Oh,
cannons and in front as they were to come through and enter as the new Mr. and Mrs. X, right?
yeah.
And the same thing we have some really big ground fog machines so we can really fog the entrance and create that cloud look as they walk in. We either fill the room around the dance floor for the first dance or have it roll in the doors with them as they enter. That kind of stuff. We've done cold spark machines and other pyro on the dance floor for the first dance if they want to do some of that as well. And usually when we incorporate the cold sparks and or the fog, we can use it for a couple moments throughout the evening.
Yeah, I think the hardest part is people don't always know what they want. They know they want that wow experience and that wow moment, and they don't know all the ways they can incorporate it. So while a venue might not allow fireworks because of its location or there isn't enough room or anything to do it, I think sometimes they don't realize there's a lot of ways using special effects and pyrotechnics and things like that to be able to still incorporate it without it only being fireworks.
Yeah, there's alternatives. And outdoors, I've done some flame effects too. I have some Hawaii looking torches that burn and kind of poof and chase. And I also have what's kind of unique is I put an open flame in a swimming pool or in their pond or in
Oh,
their,
that's cool.
I add fire features to some of that stuff because a lot of, and I haven't done it a lot, but I've done it a dozen times where I'll put a 3 foot diameter flame about 18 inches high in the middle of a swimming pool because how many events, weddings that we've been to where for some reason everyone congregates around the pool and stares into the abyss and there's
Always.
nothing there, right? So
Yeah.
I put a decorative medium and that always goes over huge because most people haven't seen this fire on water effect. They call it pool fire.
Yeah.
It really looks neat. And I've had customers like yourself a bit concerned. Well, is this going to be cool? And it upstages everything, even the catering. And I have tons of guests come over to me like,
Yeah.
it's at my house. So there's some unique stuff. You just have to have conversations with the right wedding planners and the right effects guys.
Well, I think you hit on there's some misconceptions I think that people walk into. So what are some misconceptions that couples have about special effects, especially leaning in a little bit more about the safety side of it? Because I think that's not always something people see shiny things and they want it and they maybe don't think through the safety side.
Well, the safety side ultimately is up to the pyrotechnic operators and that kind of stuff. And the permits aren't going to get approved unless we can show we can accommodate the standards and codes on paper, right? And then ultimately it's up to the operator. I've done corporate shows where we go and do a rehearsal, and the next day I come back and there's bales and hay on the stage. Okay, well, that's not going to work out too well, right?
Yeah.
So we find a happy medium for that. The other thing is the pyro and stuff isn't something that can happen overnight. It has to be planned for and pull permits. So if you call your operator 3 days out, it's unlikely you're going to be able to have pyrotechnics or fireworks. I pulled it off, but if it's in a jurisdiction that I know the fire marshal and the people
Yeah.
know because they know what to expect from me. The minimum time really is 14 days. And it's please don't make me work harder in less time than that, but I'll try.
Yeah.
I'll always get a no for anybody that wants fireworks. But typically we want 30 days,
Yeah.
45.
Like an important part of the conversation of timeline, because I think sometimes there's an overwhelmed level of planning a wedding, right? You have all these ideas at the front side, and sometimes they're reaching out to incredible companies like yours to get a quote and to just kind of get an idea and learn what pricing looks like before they're really making all the decisions for all these things they want. What can we have? What can we fit in the budget? But I think using 30 days as the standard to be making decisions on big things like this, especially things that require pulling permits. That it isn't just the venue says, yes, we can show up with fireworks and set them off. We have to go through the counties, the cities, and all of those things to get it all actually approved.
Other people don't try to do that.
So let's talk about some questions. If someone was shopping for someone who does special effects, what are some specific questions maybe that they should be asking to make sure they're hiring a reputable company that kind of follows the rules and the safety standards?
Well, I would say the longer they've been doing it is the better. How long have they been around?
Hmm.
Look at their web presence, see if you can't just find some data on them and do it. There's a lot of different things out there. I'll hit on one thing that I do that I don't like that it's done with fireworks specifically is the brides and grooms will ask me for an arrail, which is a list of pyrotechnic devices that I'm going to supply them in their wedding, right, for the
Okay.
show. So my first question to them is, well, do you know the difference between a chrysanthemum or a peony? And of
Right.
course, no. So I'm going to send you a Chinese document that you're not going to understand and waste my time to do that? No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
For two reasons is you're not going to understand what I'm going to do you, and I'm not going to give you a bunch of numbers on shells because, in my opinion, we're all liars on paper, right? So I'm not going to do that. You want to hire a guy because he says he's going to give you 10,000 devices in 5 minutes? Hire him, and I want his phone number because I'll hire him too. And the thing is I really, with a lot of the brides that I work with, I'm just that forward. And it's like, the phone rings for me. I've been doing this for 45 years. I offer value in what I do. And you know what? Whoever you hire to shoot your fireworks, you really just have to trust them because you're going to get what they show
Yeah.
up, not what's on paper. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's why the relationships I build with wedding planners and venues alike,
Yep.
these are important things. So some venues may have an exclusive pyro vendor they've worked with and will only allow you to use. I bought my first and only fireworks display for my niece in New York a couple years ago because they only had one vendor and they wouldn't allow me to do it, or I had a vendor that I was really good friends with that was going to do it. They wouldn't let us do it. So I hired them. They were good. They took care of me.
Yeah.
I did tell them I was a pyro guy and I'd be there. Please take care of me. And they
Yeah.
did well. So,
Yeah. That's fantastic. So them having those conversations early enough and making sure that they're doing their due diligence. So I do think a good factor is about asking the venue, of course, looking at websites like Wedding Venue Map, because we require a certain level of standard of vendors who are members of our vendor team. But there's a lot of logistics, I think, outside of just the permit itself that goes into special effects. So what are some of the logistics that they have to plan for?
it's really timing just to make sure we have the manpower and stuff. We have everything in place. I keep a certain amount of inventory around, so it's not like I get a show and buy the stuff. It's all here. And I can put this together in 4 hours for you.
Right.
It's just the due process of the permitting and getting the venue address and the certificate of insurance with the proper endorsements and everybody listed on it. And that's the logistic. It's the paperwork, which I'm happy to say we provide that service and pull the permits and don't put that burden on anybody else but ourselves. That would be crazy. You'd be on the phone with me all day anyways, trying to do it yourself. So that's really part of what you're paying for as well, is that we just handle all that nonsense. And all you got to do is say go or call me on the cell phone and go, okay, you can shoot it now, Andy. I mean, we'll
Right.
be waiting for you. And we try to be a shadow too. Don't let these pyro companies or any vendors upstage. This is your day. I'm over here.
Yeah.
That's really, and some people like that. And some people are concerned. Where's Andy? Well, I'm not. This isn't about me. I'm here when it's time, right? So that's really how I try to play it. And it's simple.
Yeah.
I had fireworks at my wedding. I had a wedding. I'm in the show business. I'm just going to do it the way I would expect it to be done for me. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we do it.
No, I think it's great. I think when you hire the right professionals who have the experience in it and can bring the ideas to the table and set it up in a way that it really can become a wow factor because people weren't expecting it is such an important piece of that. And going back to when they're choosing the venue, so of course, maybe they can look online and see, but what kinds of questions are there any questions that they should ask the venue outside of do you allow fireworks? Because that's such a yes no question that I'm worried about that you would lose those ones like you touched on that have never done it before, not so much that they wouldn't allow it, they just haven't done it in the past. So is there any way that they can approach the venue specifically or questions the way they should ask the venue?
Well, you can just say that they're interested in perhaps having fireworks or some kind of
Yeah.
pyrotechnics. Have they ever done it before? And then whatever that answer is, explore it from there. Well, great. You have, and we'd like to do it, or you have it. Have you ever explored doing it?
Yeah.
And hiring a professional company that'll bring insurance and all that. The other thing too that we touched on venue wise is we also in Florida do a lot of shows off of retention ponds, right?
Mm,
Lakes too. So that's an easy way to get all that distance I'm asking for is to
mm,
put it in the water. Okay. There's
yeah.
definitely expense to shoot from the water because you're bringing a couple boats. There's more manpower involved,
Yeah.
but it's also a nice venue. It reflects the color and light off the water at night.
Yeah.
It adds another element beside the expense as well.
No, I think looking for venues that have that water feature is an interesting factor if that most of the time will check the box, because
Yep.
it gives that distance and that space. So everybody's looking, everybody's on a budget. Everybody's trying to save money wherever they can. So for couples that are trying to work within their budget, how do you recommend prioritizing which effects will create the biggest impact?
Well, it's really what they want to do. You could do the whole thing. You could do a lot of ground fog inside, make it very elegant, pretty with their announcement. And prior to coming inside, they did the smoke. You may kiss the bride, and at the end of the night, they've actually got fireworks. Or just pick something that's going to do it because weddings are expensive.
Yeah.
Everybody has a budget. The fireworks and the smoke stuff, everything's going to start around 3,000 and up from there.
Okay. Yeah, that was
So
good. That was my next question. You beat me to
yeah,
it.
and I could plan on spending $3,000 to $5,000 or more, and then depends on how big the fireworks is, how long you want to display, or what other special effects you want. But understand that that kind of glory is expensive. Life is expensive. Insurance is stupid. That's a big part of the cost today. But it's special. It's not for everybody. But if
Yeah.
you can,
And you don't require, obviously, when you touched on insurance, just educating the couples a little bit more, you carry the liability insurance. It's not like they have to have their own policy. That's something that you provide.
yeah, that's correct. We actually provided $2 million liability pyrotechnic
Mm.
insurance. And we list the bride and groom as a certificate holder, and then the venue and everybody else is additional insured. So, no, we provide that. It's definitely part of the cost to produce the firework display as well.
If you can share an anecdote or a story of something that I know we've talked about so many things that can create wow moments, but a memory of something you have from a wedding that you've done that the guests were just over the top or something different and unique. Give me one of your stories because I'm sure you've got 1,000 of them.
Well, the short version of it, it's happened a couple times, and it's the best compliment ever, is that the client will literally come up to me, look at me, smile, and say, I don't know what to say, and turn and walk away.
That's
That
awesome.
that says it all. And then obviously they hire me again, but I probably exceeded their expectations if they didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
So it's good. There's different levels of that. I've had people in tears, so they just love fireworks and just thought it was such a great thing for the moment, for that production or whatever. And I've made people mad at me because they weren't invited. It was a neighbor or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's part of fireworks. It really is. And I, as you can tell, I would recommend hire someone that's passionate about it because I love it.
Yeah.
And most fireworks people do because we put up with a lot of nonsense to do this. There's so much behind the scenes that we don't share. And if I didn't love fireworks, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's a battle. I'm a lobbyist. I'm an advocate for fireworks as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do this forever. I have no plans on ever stopping shooting fireworks. And
Yeah.
stuff.
What do you think is one of the things that makes your company so different than others in the market?
Because I use a certain line of products that makes me a little more affordable than some of the bigger companies that shoot these large shells. Because everything costs more when you get into the bigger material.
Mhm.
And storage, the shipping, the insurance, the price, all of
Right.
it, the labor, the equipment. So I've created a smaller level 1.4. It's typically what a lot of companies do for wedding shows. And they've got beautiful stuff. It also allows me to be inside that 200-foot mark too. I don't have to be 600 feet away. Some of the bigger display companies see that kind of stuff. My uniqueness, I've been doing this for 46 years.
Wow.
Part of the standard committees that writes the rules and regulations. So actually, when I get in, if I'm doing the show and the inspectors inspect me, they're not going to say anything to me that I don't understand. And I'm not
Right.
there to not do it right. In fact, I'm the last guy to say I don't know, because I'm on these standard committees that
Right.
review standards and codes for this. So, and then that just helps me and my company represent ourselves when we're pulling permits and say somewhere we haven't been before. Because we do 50, 60 shows a year. We're always somewhere we haven't been before. And now most of them are, we have been there before.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that reputation now. I've been doing this so long, the phone rings. I'm just as honest as I could be. I have people call me from out of state that I can't help. I still try and find them a vendor. You know what I mean?
So is that the way fireworks works? You're like licensed within a state. This is the like Florida. You can do all of Florida, not just Central Florida.
I can do all of Florida. Every state has different laws.
Okay.
Everyone is completely different. I worked pretty much exclusively in Florida. However, I have the skills to produce a fireworks display just about anywhere in the world.
Nice.
I've been doing it long enough. I have international contacts as well. And we talk to importers, and I'm into the manufacturing and all this other silly things.
Yeah.
The fireworks, I've been doing this. I'm actually a student of pyrotechnics, if you can imagine. I will never, ever know it all. You're just always learning different stuff. And now it's more of the boring stuff, not all the fun stuff. But yeah, it's still interesting to me. It's still very interesting to it. And I do smiles and I make people heroes. That's what I do. I make people happy, other people. And that's rewarding enough for the cheer. I love it. That's my style of entertainment.
Well, and I think that that's knowing with all the data and all the statistics that exist on the business side of weddings. We know that guest experience is at literally the top of the list of what they're looking for fun, they're looking for wow moments, and what their guests leave with. And yes, sometimes something like special effects, having a budget of 3,000 to 5,000, sometimes that's not going to work in the budget. But for those couples who are looking for that wow moment, that are willing to really invest in something that is they'll never forget, they'll be able to experience together. I feel like sometimes what happens is after the grandness of the wedding and all of the things, it gets to the end and it's like, oh, it's over. And it's just kind of like it ends. And maybe you have an exit, maybe you've got the cold sparks at the exit. That's one of my favorite things I see. Sometimes the venues don't allow cold sparks inside because that's just part of their rules, but they will all allow them outside for a grand exit. So if you love the look of that and you don't want Nana and Uncle Joe, who's had too many beers, to be playing with sparklers, like maybe it's a better fit for you to get the same look of that, but just be using the cold sparks instead.
And the cold sparks too, they're sold as a cold spark or a non-pyrotechnic device, but they are actually, in my world, considered a pyrotechnic
100%. That's why a lot of the venues might not allow them, because they are pyro.
They'll have to pull permits for them, and people will mislead people and say that that's not the case. A lot get away with doing them without a permit, but they do require permanent insurance as well.
Yeah, and all of that is being protected. So if you had one piece of advice for couples that are considering Orlando special effects for their wedding day, what would that one piece of advice be?
Just call us up early enough, 6-8 weeks out, so we can discuss what you want to do and plan. And then you guys have time, and I can talk to the venue for those people if they want or whatever. And then we can, if it's a new venue in a new area, then we just explore it and ensure that we can accommodate everybody. But, again, then we have people that call us last minute. It's not 7-Eleven, but we try our best. But it's really just give us the time and call with questions. It's funny. A lot of people are afraid to ask what they call the dumb questions.
Yeah.
Certainly not that guy, because I've learned a lot asking a lot of questions. And if I ask a dumb question to you, so be it. And what I tell a lot of people, and you have to remember this, just like, you're never going to ask me a dumber question than this. I worked for the Magic Kingdom many moons ago, okay? And I had 2 people ask me, when's the 2:00 parade? Now, I bet you know when the 2:00 parade is.
2:00.
Look at the video, knows when the 2:00 parade is, correct? And if you can come up with a dumber question than that, like they say in the South, bless your heart. Dumb questions. It's all good.
Yeah. The more you learn, then you can figure out if it really is the right fit. And I think that you hit on such an important factor of the willingness to be the go-between between the venue, the planner, like helping to coordinate and organize so that it's not, so you can help answer everybody's questions so that everyone's on the same page.
Well, everybody has concerns, whether I like it or not, and I've answered the same questions for 45 years, but they're legit, and
Yeah.
they don't, I know, and they've watched lots of TV and news, so I get it, and we try to accommodate it, and it's really easy for me to accommodate those answers to the venue rather than the wedding planner or the bride and groom because they really don't know. They really don't know. So we don't mind. We get it and we understand that. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the service. I certainly would question if you hired a vendor and they're like, well, you're going to have to pull the permit. I'm like, what?
How do I even know what to do to make sure you're doing the right thing?
If they did that to me, I'd be on the phone all day long with them. Like they just dragged me through it. That's why I was like, no, I'm just going to charge you a few bucks and do it for you. It's all good.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this. I feel like special effects are one of those things that couples may see online or on social media or at another wedding, and they don't always realize how much of the planning and coordination and creativity of thinking outside the box you guys come up with that actually goes into making those moments really happen successfully. And I love that there's so many different ways that the couples can incorporate effects into their wedding day past just thinking about fireworks, like whether they want something like subtle or elegant or that huge high energy moment like you're talking about shooting off confetti cannons and flower petal cannons and all of those things. So we'll link Andy's wedding venue map profile in the video below so you can learn more about Orlando special effects and explore all the different experiences and effects that they can offer for you. And if you're still planning your wedding or building your vendor team for your Central Florida wedding, you can find more inspiration, planning tips, trusted local pros right here on the venue map. So we'll see you soon. Thank you, Andy, so much for your
All right.
time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.